Bonjour les amis, rebonjour. Rebonjour if you already caught me this morning in the lovely town of Saint Rémy de Provence. I thought I'd pop back in right before I head back to Avignon this afternoon. The weather is gorgeous. It was really chilly this morning, but it's certainly warmed up. I left you in a town where we had beautiful buildings dating back to the 16th through 18th century. And here we are among ruins. This is actually an archaeological site, that's about 100 years old. They started excavating here in 1921. We are in the Gallo-Roman city of Glanum. I know the signal is very weak, but I thought I would do that anyway just for a few minutes to give you a chance to experience what it's like to be standing next to stones, former homes, former buildings that are more than 2,000 years old. So they were able to prove that there have been people here since the 6th and 7th century BC, originally a Gallic tribe. And the name, of course, of the city came from that Gallic tribe. The Greeks came next, and then, of course, the Romans. And once the Romans arrived, the architecture of the city changed drastically. I don't know if you believe this, but I'm actually looking right now. We are looking at the market. There used to be a covered market here. That's what you're looking at right next to me. In the distance over there is the Forum. You can't really see much. We have a fountain, a sacred fountain that's attracted people here for a really long time. We have homes that used to belong to the people who lived here. What else do we have? We have here an example of a Greek home, because before the Romans, of course, the Greeks were here. And you have seen examples of these homes where you'd have the center of the home was organized around a patio of sorts that was covered. You see the columns that used to carry the roof, and in the middle was a swimming pool. A very deep pool, in fact. And this illustration here shows us what happened with the pool. It was really clever engineering. This is what the house looks like with the pool. So you can kind of picture it if I do this, because the columns are still here. But then the pool was designed to collect rainwater, and so rainwater would be collected in the pool, be carried below the house, and then it would flush out. The tank that would clean the latrines. I mean, this is really smart engineering, all with rainwater. So this was the home of someone who lived here once upon a time, a long time ago. And you can also see a lot here. You can walk around, there are a lot of signs. And what I like is that they have photos of the people who who did all the excavations from 1921 on. They did a lot in the 30s and after World War II in the 50s as well. So I've been walking around here. You can also climb all the way up to the Belvedere over there. And if you do, there's a beautiful view of the site itself. So quite impressive to think that we are standing in a former bustling city. Now the Romans were here roughly from the 1st century BC to the 1st century AD. After that, the same thing happened all over Gaul. Barbarians rolled in the 3rd century, and eventually the city was abandoned, and that's when, where we were this morning, Saint Rémy de Provence started growing, a separate city, which is a 20-minute walk from here, so very close by. But for a long time, there was life here. So if you come to Saint Rémy de Provence, you can of course enjoy this town we went to this morning, the museums there, the shops, the restaurants, the beautiful little streets. It's a former walled city, and you can actually see signs or remnants of those walls that used to be around the city. But then you can take a 20-minute walk and you can come here to the Gallo-Roman city of Glanum and get a feel for what it was like to live in those times. Now there's also another thing to do right across the street, and I did that earlier. You of course know artist Vincent van Gogh, like my friend Nina says. She's from Denmark. I call him Vincent, it's a lot easier. His fans come here because this is where he spent an entire year getting psychiatric care, but also creating more than 150 of his most famous paintings. And the site, the hospital of sorts where he was, is right across the street from us. Now I was going to live stream from there, but the signal was so weak I couldn't. So instead I filmed a video tour, and I think I should switch around and talk to you in person a little bit. Yeah, so I filmed this stroll at the facility where Vincent spent an entire year between 1889 and 1890 before he returned north to Paris and died, after a couple of months in Auvers-sur-Oise. You know the sad story of his death and his last few months. But if you want to see this video, you have to be a Friends with Véro club member, of course, but also there's another way you can do that, is to sign up for my mailing list. I am relaunching the Friends with Véro newsletter, as I've announced on the page yesterday. And all you need to do that, it's entirely free, is to go to the French Girl in Seattle website, frenchgirlinseattle.com. And then on the homepage, you'll see La mailing list. And then you can just add your name and your email to that. And next week, when I am in the second city where we'll be staying in Provence, I will be sending a link to that video to Friends with Véro club members and all the good people who have signed up to the mailing list. So this is how you can catch that video and find out more about Vincent's life as he got inspired by this beautiful area, the light and the scenery in this beautiful area. I thought I would mention that, but today, none of this was planned. I have to work with cell signals, so I just left the site where Vincent van Gogh lived and came here.